Hello, welcome back. It's George Stoy on the SoonerScoop.com YouTube page. Obviously a special episode. No Eddie Radosevich here. Instead, I've got the two new guys, Joe Castiglione Jr., Isaac Stoops. Welcome to the Scoop team, guys. This is kind of a new thing, so we're going to introduce these two guys. They're going to be having a new show called The Family Business. I believe I'll be a part of it as well in some capacity, sitting with these two guys. Obviously, you guys know these guys, and you definitely know their dads. Obviously, Joe Castiglione, Bob Stoops. But I kind of want to get into some background stuff with you guys first before we jump into some college football. I mean, massive college football news today with Nick Saban retiring. We'll get into that a little bit later. But first, let's just meet you guys. Joe, I know I've known you now. I think we met freshman year, 2015. I called you out and I was like, hey, are you Joe Castiglione Jr. when you were walking down Headington Hall? But Joe, why Sooner Scoop, man? Why'd you want to get into this? I know media has been something that you've been kind of interested in for a while.
Yeah, no, media is something I've kind of touched my toes in a little bit, per se, a little bit. I had a brief Instagram show. George, you were a co-host, and Eddie actually joined that. And then kind of dabbled here and there. I've tried to build up my Twitter a little bit. Not quite there yet. But media is just really something I want to get into because it's evolving, and there's so many different ways to distribute it now. And I just felt like I could contribute in that. I have a background playing football, but play's a rough word. I was on the team, and for that, I also spent 2 years student coaching on the defensive side. So I know Isaac's got a little experience with that too as well. And so I think I could provide a little bit behind the scenes ideas and kind of things that you may not know about. So I'm excited to provide that perspective. And then why I wanted to join Sooner Scoop is I was watching Sooner Scoop content. I was listening to the pod. I'm a subscriber. Still, if somebody can find my username on the message boards, DM me and I'll send you $5, but don't publish it. But not yet. But I just want to join this team, and I'm really thankful for Carrie, Eddie, Josh, Bob, yourself for welcoming Isaac and I. We're really happy to be here, and I'm ready to get this thing rolling.
Yeah, the Instagram show was quite the fun times back in the day. But that was like a year ago. I mean, we were doing that.
It was just about over a year ago. Short-lived.
It was fun, though.
Yeah, Eddie joined from the bus stop. We had a location.
With your dad. Your dad was on there, too. Definitely going to have to get your guys' dads on there. Isaac, same question for you, man. I know that obviously your dad is now in the podcast space. We're going to try and take over his podcast, maybe get some better views than him. I know he's got some big guests over there. But Isaac, same question to you, man. Why Sooner Scoop? Why'd you want to get into this?
I worked with a lot of these guys. They covered me in high school, and I just know that they're good dudes. And my palate's not as big as Joe's when it comes to media and stuff. But I started to kind of tune in a little bit more and become more involved in it. And just my background in OU sports, growing up around it, and then walking on after high school, and then student coaching on the defensive side, like Joe said, for a couple years under Grinch and then under Coach V. Obviously, it's just something that I care about, something that I feel like I can contribute to. I think that we'll all really enjoy.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be interesting because you guys obviously know the program so well inside and out because of your dads, right? I mean, you guys have lived up. You guys eat, breathe, live OU football, and kind of have seen things behind the scenes. But I think you guys also have a good feel on the fan base because you guys are, deep down fans of OU football. So I think it's going to be interesting to hear your guys' perspective on certain things. We'll get into some of this coaching stuff later because I know you guys have kind of experienced it. But what do you guys want this show to be? I think that it's going to be interesting, again, like I said, because you guys know so many people. We could probably get some great guests on. Mm-hmm. I said your guys' dads. I know that's been kind of in the works and talked about. Maybe we get your dads on there. I mean, the family business, that'd be perfect to get them on. But what do you guys maybe envision this list looking like? And I know it's I'm putting you on the spot here. We'll see. I'm sure it's a fluid situation. But what is the dreams, hopes for this type of show?
I think first off, we do look forward to bringing on some guests in the future and just kind of peeling back those layers. I think a lot of these people, they have been on podcasts before, but if we bring somebody, such as my dad or Coach Stoops on the show, we're going to want to, they have personalities. We want to see them a little bit. So kind of break them out of their shells a little bit. I always say that my dad has a really funny personality. that not a lot of people get to see because he just doesn't show that side. So we want to show that side of people. And then, we do want to provide quality and kind of insightful stuff into the program. I think we're going to do as well. And then just kind of some good laughs. We're all 20-year-old guys, living in Oklahoma City Metro. So, I think a lot of people are going to be able to relate in that and then enjoy the show.
Yeah, I think we might have a post-game Hooters get together after this, right?
I'm working on that sponsorship right now. So
that would be maybe too. I mean, you guys are both also obviously great high school athletes. We know that about Isaac. I don't know if everybody knows about Joe. Was a great running back at Mount St. Mary's back in the day.
I don't know about great. I was a good player. Though. I won't sell myself short. I was a good 3A player, but spent that. Played a few years at Mount St. Mary's and actually almost went Division II. So I did have some football offers. Division II, though. I don't include that usually when saying that. But it doesn't matter. But they ended up going student coaching and walking on. So, got both sides of that. So.
And Isaac, I mean, we should bring up your tape. I mean, you had great tape, too. Maybe we could also get your brother on, too.
Yeah, no, Drake would definitely love to come on, when he's got the time. He's still here. So we spent a lot of time together. He would definitely be down. But yeah, no, I had some decent tape,
I think we need to. I think we need to bring it up. Get some B-roll of these guys.
It'll make me nervous, but yeah, no, I think that this will be a really good show to help bridge the gap between fans and then in the program and everything. Let you all kind of see things that you may not have seen yet, and obviously we can bring on some great guests. Hopefully, whether it's players, coaches, just sports figures in general. I think that we can get a lot out of it. I think it'll be a lot of fun too. Just us three being friends already and the age we are. I think it'll be very entertaining.
Yeah, I know. I mean, look, this is something that I think that will be great for us three because we can kind of shoot the shit. We can talk about OU football, obviously, OU basketball. I know you guys are paying attention to them as well. But this is also just something that we can talk about college football. We can talk about anything that's going on. And I think that's kind of the fun part of this. And while we're on that topic, guys, let's dive into some of the big breaking news today. I mean, Nick Saban, a couple hours ago, is going to retire. And we were talking before we got on here, Isaac, that you remember your dad, the day that your dad retired. I want to ask you, though, how far in advance did you know that he was going to retire? And then take us through that day when it did actually happen.
I can't really remember specifically how long or how far in advance that he told us. But I had some warning. I never really quite knew when he was gonna do it or how he was gonna do it. But that day was a crazy one for sure, and one I'll never forget because kind of I'm sure everyone it kind of took us all by storm. It took me by storm when he initially told me. But I was at the prospect camp in the indoor facility, and it was wrapping up, I think, and I could tell things were stirring, and I didn't know why, and someone pulled me outside and was telling me I got to go to his office, me and my brother, and I was like, and they're like seemed really urgent, and I was like, I'm not going anywhere until you tell me what's going on. I was like, I thought he might have died or something. So now I'm like, what the hell, what's going on? But and so then I found out, and I received a lot of texts and a lot of calls, and there was a lot of speculation, about why and his health and all these different things. I mean, he was fine. He still is fine, So I think maybe he just wanted to spend some more time with us before we graduated and watch us play ball and stuff. And I know we had a good time doing that. So.
And Joe, you were on the team at the time, right?
I was. So we just wrapped up a great workout with Schmitty. So then I was in my summer class, being studious, and then I was on Twitter. That's how much I was paying attention in class, and then I saw the Barry Trammell tweet and was like, what in the world? And then less than 3 minutes later, we get a Teamworks message, which is the platform they communicate with us with. And it said team meeting, 30 minutes, you're excused from class. And so we went to the meeting, and that's when they told us, Coach Stoops was stepping down, retiring, and then Lincoln was going to take his place. And it was wild. We were all caught in shock. I remember just a couple hours later, me and my old roommate, Connor McGinnis, we actually bought an inflatable hot tub. And so we're building this in our backyard, but we're not talking because we're kind of in shock that Coach Stoops. And so we're sitting there, we build the hot tub, we fill it up, we get it running, we're just sitting there, we're like, wow, this is crazy.
That's great. Where's the hot tub now? Do you still have it?
I do not know where it is. It is somewhere.
Yeah, we'll have to get into some old college stories because you and I have a couple from a few years ago. But Joe, I also wanted to ask you though too, because obviously your dad has been through these type of moves before, hiring Lincoln, which everybody knew that was what was going to happen. That was the succession plan. But, recently going through the coaching search for Brent. But I know that your dad is as tight-lipped as they come. Like, I mean, you probably didn't even know a lot of that stuff was going on.
No, I didn't. And then, not that I get tired of people asking me, because I understand they want to know, because I want to know. Yeah. And then but he really is as tight-lipped as like people think he is, because I'm calling him, I'm texting him. He never sends anything over text, really. He'll send like yes or a little bit, or he'll call me if he really has something to say. And so I remember during that search, I'd call him, and then he'd give me little tidbits. Like he'd kind of tell me who he's interviewing a little bit, who's kind of in the running a little bit. But still, like, he would be so vague that it would be anything that anybody couldn't have got over Twitter. Yeah. And I'm like, come on, man, just like tell me a little bit. And he does that with all his searches a little bit. He'll kind of give me a few candidates, he really likes, but no real actual thing. And so that's when I kind of took to Twitter and that time kind of made some jokes, because people are like, what is he thinking? And I'm like, I don't know.
Joe is so tight.
I just went downstairs and asked him. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I just ate with him and he didn't say 2 words. So
I saw that you were tweeting about that earlier today too, wasn't it? Somebody tweeted at you like, "Hey Joe, put."
Oh yeah, so somebody asked if I could bring up to my father about scheduling OSU, because he's never thought about that before, never tried either. So it's like, yeah, I can bring that up on the Sunday family dinner, right in between, family vacation talk, and then teaching them what the word Riz means. And so I said I'll squeeze that in between those 2 things. But yeah, let me put that right on them, and I'll send out the minutes later. Yeah. So I'll put those publicly. Yeah.
That's funny. And Isaac, I'm sure too, with this whole Nick Saban deal, and we'll get into some of the candidates here in a second. Some guys that maybe you guys think would be good, but it seems like every head coaching search, your dad is going to be mentioned. I'm sure that gets a little bit tiresome too.
Yeah, no, it's almost every time now. It never fails to happen. But surely people have kind of figured out now that I think he's kind of wrapped up and done. But I don't know. It continues to happen, and I assume it'll happen at some point this week.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap this up by who are the candidates that you guys think they should go after, and maybe a name that you guys are like, that's if you're in Alabama's position, who are you hiring?
I'll take this one to go ahead. I think the obvious one is the obvious one for a reason. So Dan Lanning, I remember actually talking about this a few months ago with my dad. We talk through hypotheticals sometimes. And so we were talking about if Saban retired, not knowing it was going to happen this year, who do you think's the obvious choice? And then we talked about Dan Lanning, and then I think Dabo is going to be. But quite honestly, is Dabo's stock as high as it used to be? I don't know. Is Alabama kind of liking what his trajectory is in terms of the NIL business and portal management? I don't know. But I really think Dan Lanning is going to be 1A and 1B. And they're going to make him say no. His buyout is $20 million, though, supposedly. So that's going to be quite a hindrance. And then a second one, I'll give a one that I think they should look at, but they won't, is Chris Kleiman at Kansas State. And then you just surround him with some dogs and recruiting and a lot of NIL money, and I think he would really, really kill it there. But it's going to be hard because those are some big shoes to fill there.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, no, definitely probably the biggest shoes to fill and biggest search that's happened in recent college football memory. Like you said earlier, though, I think Lane Kiffin or Coach Sarkisian are, possible options just with the Alabama backgrounds and both coming off killer seasons, this year. And I think that they're both very in tune with the direction that NIL is going. And I think that they would, help retain a lot of recruits as well as bring a lot of guys through the portal on their own. Yeah,
and I think that's a really good point, Isaac, because I think the biggest trickle effect is not really Alabama. Like, look, Alabama's going to be Alabama, and I think they're going to make a great hire. Like, whoever they go hire, I think will likely end up being successful. I mean, if they go get a Dan Lanning, like, he's probably going to be pretty good there. Steve Sarkisian, like, they have the resources there that whoever they hire is going to have every opportunity to succeed. My biggest question is who they hire that program trying to replace whoever they lose. I mean, if Steve Sarkisian goes to Alabama, what does that look like for Texas? Who's Texas going after? Are they going after Kalen DeBoer? Are they going after Dan Lanning? It's interesting, man. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's kind of a crazy time for college football because I think everybody knew Nick Saban was going to retire at some point. Mm-hmm. I just don't think anybody thought it was going to happen at 4:00 today.
No, I think maybe a couple weeks ago I might have misread a tweet, but it kind of calmed the waters a little bit that Saban wasn't going to retire. And so people weren't expecting this, but they are going to be successful. But I think that's a good point. It's the trickle-down effect. Who's Oregon going to go get? Who's Texas going to go get?
Somebody's getting screwed.
Yeah.
That domino effect is going to be, everyone's going to, not everyone, but somebody's going to be searching for a coach.
Purely hypothetical, but even like a Dan Lanning leaves Oregon, does Oregon go after like a Mike Norvell? Somebody like that, And
his buyout's only $4 million. Like that's going to play a factor in some of this.
Correct. And he's thinking now, he can move to the Big Ten. They're going to have a lot higher likelihood of making the playoff in the future. Oregon's got an absolute war chest at NIL. And so Florida State could be the loser of all this? I don't know. And so
especially after everything that happened this year with the playoffs, the season
they're going to be so mad.
Yeah. I mean, Florida State's just had it rough lately, but
I don't want that for them.
Yeah, I know they've had it really rough. Well, guys, let's wrap it up there. First, kind of short show again. We just want to introduce these two guys. Obviously, we're going to have some sort of a schedule moving forward. We'll have probably a rundown. I told Carrie that I was kind of winging this before we went into it, but you guys crushed it. This is kind of a new era at Sooner Scoop, so we want to do more shows. We're obviously building up the YouTube page. Eddie and I are still going to be back with our usual practice reports. Bob still with the Hoops report. I'm sure you guys might want to jump on and talk some hoops as well with Bob. I'm pretty sure they're going to shoot one maybe tomorrow, talking about OU. Obviously, they've got tonight against TCU in Fort Worth. They've got Saturday in Lawrence, and Eddie and Bob are going out there. We're still going to have recruiting reports with Josh McQuiston, which it is McQuiston, by the way. I know Eddie always comes on here and says McQuiston. It is McQuiston. I told Josh I'd get that right for him, but I'm sure you guys will hop over there. So we'll be doing some mixing and matching with these guys, but make sure you guys welcome these two. Where can they find you guys? Are you guys Isaac? I don't know. Are you on Twitter?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. It's just my name, Isaac Stoops 3.
And I know, Joe, you've been trying to get yours up. You've been living in people's replies trying to get your following up.
I got to do it somehow. I'm marginally funny, so I got to push it somehow. But at Joe C. Jr., 29, I think. Just search my name, but you'll find it.
Perfect. Well, make sure you guys follow these guys. Also, make sure you subscribe. Like the YouTube page. We'll be coming out with a lot more stuff. But until next time, thanks for tuning in to SoonerScoop.com's YouTube page.